بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we are talking about a topic which is very important. It's very important for the Muslim to be aware of, indeed for every human to be aware of. And this is what is in the reminder number 14 in your books, the 30 steps towards a refreshing Ramadan. And the title of that reminder is Your Comments Are Being Monitored. Subhanallah, today we live in a strange world. There's so much things out there today. Information. People are online, people are logging in, people are changing and exchanging information on different platforms. And one thing that we have come to realize, whether you accept it or not, is that every comment that you make in the cyberspace is monitored. Your email is monitored, your encrypted messages end to end are all monitored. What you say, what text messages you send, all of that is monitored. And when you realize this, which I'm sure a lot of people do realize it, what it makes you think actually is, okay, I'm being monitored here. That means I have to be careful what I say. I have to be careful what I'm writing. I have to be careful what emojis I use, what messages, what pictures, everything you have to, because there's somebody out there watching you from the intelligence service. And it might even not be one country, it might be multi-countries looking in. Even today, the whole issue of the 5G and our problems between the UK and America is all related about whether this 5G installation in the UK by a Chinese firm is actually going to be part of the intelligence and monitoring data and information and so on. So everybody's very hyped up about it. In fact, you'd be quite naive to think that everything you write, things that you're writing in a private email is actually private. But because most people are aware, or at least let's say even if you're not aware on all these levels, but when you are aware that for example, now while I'm talking to you, my words are going to be monitored. You are watching and you are hearing my words. I'm going to be very careful what I say, and I shouldn't be saying anything offensive. I shouldn't be saying something that's going to incriminate me. I shouldn't say something that's going to be used against me. And this is the very nature of what we're talking about today, which is when you are aware that whatever you say is going to be documented. Whatever you say is going to be written, is going to be saved. Okay? Not on some USB drive, but in some sort of, subhanAllah, in the past when we used to think about the angels are writing, kiraman katibin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. They are writing, honored people writing. You probably imagine them with these, imagine these angels with these big books, these massive books, and they're just writing. But now, as subhanAllah, as time has advanced, we know that might not be these big books with the ink pens and writing down. Today, your actions, your information is being registered, through digital means. SubhanAllah, the angels might even have. Digital, even to say digital might even be naive of us, because, looking maybe 1,000 years into the future, there might even be technology which is much more advanced than this. And obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of that. So that is all documented on you. And it might be that on the Day of Judgment, when we say that you are given your books either in your right hand or your left hand, that book might not be like this, thick volume with it. It might be a small micro chip or something, where you just insert somewhere and all your actions appear in front of you as 3D or not even 3D, maybe even 4D, like holograms or something. So are you knowing that everything you do, everything you say, everything you think and feel is being monitored. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge you for everything that comes out of your mouth, and to a certain extent what's inside here, meaning your intention, the reasons behind you doing it, etc., etc. When you think about it in this way, are you then more, or should you not be more aware of what you say, what you do, how you behave? And we're talking specifically about what you say today, because the tongue is one of the biggest problems that will cause humanity. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ, when he gave the advice to Mu'adh, he gave him a summary of advice. Told him about, Mu'adh was asking what will make me enter Al-Jannah and keep me away from the fire. The Prophet ﷺ gave him some of the advice there. He gave him the arkan, he gave him some key aspects. He gave him lots of, and then he said to him, shall I not tell you something which is almost like sovereign, it's something which encompasses all of this advice that I told you? He said, yes, indeed, tell me, O Messenger of Allah. So the Prophet took hold of his tongue and he said, hold back this, hold it back. Don't let it loose. Don't let it just be speaking and talking. Hold back your tongue. So Mu'adh, radiallahu anhu, and Mu'adh, remember, Mu'adh is, as the Prophet said in another hadith, he said, أَعْلَمُ أُمَّتِي بِالْحَلَالِ وَالْحَرَامِ. Mu'adh, he is the most knowledgeable in terms of halal and haram. Mu'adh said, O Messenger of Allah, we're going to be accounted for what we say? And the Prophet ﷺ was, to a certain extent, upset with Mu'adh. Mu'adh, come on, you are one of the most knowledgeable of the Sahaba. How can you make a statement like this? And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, in a statement which we might not fully understand in English, but it's like goes, may your mother be of loss to you. What you have said is almost worse than somebody dying. What will cause people to be thrown on their faces in the fire except the harvest of their tongues? It's like the majority of things that will land you in the fire, and not just land you, will cause you to be thrown in your face, out of humiliation, is what your tongue sows, and therefore you will harvest therein. So, my dear respected brothers and sisters, Ramadan is an opportunity for us where we are monitoring what goes inside our mouths. Don't put anything inside. But it's also, coincidentally, it should be monitoring what comes out of our mouth. And that's why when Maryam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told her that when you go to your people and they're going to ask you and you don't want to talk to them, just say, Inni nadartu lirrahmani sawma. I have intended, I have made an oath, I pledge to fast for Ar-Rahman. فَلَنْ أُكَلِّمَ الْيَوْمَ إِنسِيًّا. I will not talk to anybody. They had in their religion, in the Jewish religion, a type of fasting which was not to speak. And that's why you have some of the monks and the nuns, they practice this, an oath of silence. For so long they shouldn't speak or whatever. It's like a form. In our deen, if you are quiet, thinking that being quiet is a ibadah, then that's a bid'ah. It's a bid'ah to think that being quiet, just for the sake of being quiet, is a ibadah. Then this is a bid'ah, because Islam doesn't tell you should be quiet for the sake of worship. However, being quiet for the sake of not talking something which is going to incriminate you or cause you harm or damage, etc., that is a ibadah. And that is a high respect, because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man kana yu'minu billah wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khayran aw liyaskut." Whoever believes in Allah and the final day, then let him say something good or let him be quiet. So therefore you have a choice of either saying things which are good, saying things which are useful, saying information which is going to be a help to you and to others. If you can't do that, be quiet. That's the best option. And that's why in the narration, man samata najah. Whoever is quiet will be saved. He will escape. And also, when you look at the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ, you look at the sayings of the Sahaba, you will see that was their practice. That it is better for them to be quiet than to actually say something. And to the extent that Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, he summarized this kind of attitude and he said, رأيت سكوتي متجرا فلزمته إن لم يفد بربح فلست بخاسر. I saw that my silence was a type of bargain, a type of trade. He's trying to give the analogy of silence to being a trade. Now, a trade, when you're looking for a trade, you're ultimately looking for profit and loss. So he said, I considered my silence as a trade. If it is not going to bring me any profit, i.e. by being silent, then at least it's not going to make me at loss. I'm not going to lose anything. And that's how we should feel, inshallah ta'ala. This Ramadan, let us try to learn how to control what comes out of our mouths, control our tongues, control our speeches, but also control the tone of things that come out of our mouth, and ultimately control also the expressions and the body language that comes